Today, your Nevada Union Lady Miners take on the Elk Grove Thundering Herd in the first round of the consolation bracket right here on your Foothill Game of the Week. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sacramento Softball Complex, a very beautiful facility dedicated to softball in the Sacramento area and home of this year's CIF Sac Joaquin Section Softball Playoffs. I'm Gil Dominguez along with Terry Tagney, our director, Miles Everett, and the rest of the Touchdown Production sports team. And Terry, the Lady Miners, they made it through Suicide Saturday, but it took them 12 innings to do it in that first game.
Well, that's most certainly a thrilling game for the Lady Miners as they defeated the Bulldogs from Folsom 4-3. However, the 3 hours it took to accomplish this took its toll on them both physically and mentally. So in the second game of their doubleheader, they did not have much left in the tank against upstart Grace Davis and wound up losing 6-0.
And that Grace Davis team, one of the Cinderella stories here coming out of their league, number 3 seed, and really taking care of business. And, of course, with the Lady Miners losing that second game, they fall into the consolation bracket, which is where we are today. And they will take on Elk Grove. Each of these teams has one loss, so the loser of this goes home, and the winner advances for Game 2 tonight. And we'll take a look at that playoff grid and set the starting lineups right after we tell you that Touchdown Productions presentation of the Lady Miners Road to the Section title is being underwritten by Liberty Motors. Gary Alkenbrack and GM Tom Rubino announced the arrival of the 2004 Hemi-powered Dodge Durango sport utility vehicle that's 3 inches taller, 7 inches longer, and 3 inches wider than before, and only at Liberty Motors.
Hanson Brothers Construction and HBE Rentals. No job is too large or too small for Hanson Brothers, whether it's cutting a driveway or an entire road. And big congratulations to Jeff Hanson and his new bride, Andrea. Hanson Brothers Construction and HBE Rentals.
Yeah, we were out there on Saturday. What a great ceremony and celebration for the whole Hanson family. And Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning owner Dennis Aday has been serving the Foothill since 1996 and specializes in the service, repair, and replacement of any residential heating and air conditioning unit. That's Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Also by Placer Title Company. Larry Ingersoll is proud to announce the grand opening of the new Placer Title office in Lake of the Pines on Comby Road. And introduce to you its manager, Tracy Willis, Placer Title Company.
And Soft Answers, Dallas Wibholm is a local software specialist and can help you overcome any problem with your computer software or create software solutions just for you. That's Soft Answers.
And, of course, by us, Touchdown Productions, championship television for the Foothills. Be sure to tune in next time on ACTV Channel 20 in Auburn, USA Media Channel 23 in Bear River and Colfax, and the newest station in the Foothills, NCTV in Nevada City, Grass Valley, as we present the best in high school playoff coverage.
And with that, the first pitch is underway. And that's going to be a strike. Becky Dowd is on the mound for the Lady Miners. The batter is number 1, Courtney Allen. She plays first base for the Thundering Herd. And the game is underway. Game number 3 in this tournament. Both of these teams had 2 games on Saturday. And we'll show you some grid and talk about that as the game progresses. But today, both teams have 1 loss already. And coming into this game, it's a do-or-die situation for both teams as Dowd delivers a ball to Allen. That brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just starting the action right here. Gil Dominguez along with Terry Tagney. And Terry, I think the Lady Miners, they're pumped. They've had some rest after their long day, and I think they came ready to play.
Well, I was watching him in warm-ups. They were tremendously enthusiastic, and they're starting out with their workhorse pitcher, Becky Dowd. Pitched a little over 80 innings this year with just a .95 ERA, so they're going with their best.
Courtney Allen, the leadoff batter, batting .376 for the Thunder and Herd, calls timeout and steps out of the box. She's had 85 at-bats, an on-base percentage of .417, and slugging at a .671 pace. So you can see she has the highest on-base percentage of any of the players, as she takes ball 3 from Dowd, and that'll set up a full count situation here. First batter, first inning. Consolation bracket, Nevada Union versus Elk Grove and the CIF Sac Joaquin section softball playoffs. There's a foul tip right there to stay alive.
Gil, that's a pretty high slugging percentage for a leadoff hitter. Are we looking at the high school softball version of Ricky Henderson here?
We might be. And we're just getting their lineup right here, so we'll see exactly what the Herd's going to be doing in terms of lineup. Nice crowd showed up here so far. Got 4 games working right here at the softball complex. Way ahead of that, she dropped the ball, though. And Hart will drop the ball, catcher for Nevada Union.
Well, Gil, I've not been to the Sacramento softball complex before today. This is just a beautiful facility. We couldn't ask for a better day. It's right about 80 degrees here in Sacramento. No breeze whatsoever. This is baseball weather at its finest.
So they're going to call that a foul tip.
Like a strikeout in my book, Gil.
And Courtney Allen will remain at the plate.
Oh, he called it a foul.
So full count now. Allen fouling off 2 pitches of Dowd. We thought that one was a strike, and they threw it to first for the out, but the umpire said it was a foul tip. And there's a little high pitch. And that will send Allen to first. So already marks on my scoreboard.
Well,
marks of incorrectness, Terry.
That's an interesting development. We go from 1 out with nobody on to nobody out with 1 on. That changes the situation considerably.
And
interesting that the batter took off running. She didn't know she fouled it off.
Well, you know how it is. You play until the referee blows the whistle. There's a bunt right there by Harrison. And it's going to be an overthrow by Poteet, who is coming in. And they got him in a rundown right now.
Oh, they missed them both.
And they wound up missing them both. She was going for the third baseman. That was Schmidt over there, looking to get the lead runner. And they let the Harrington.
Got somebody injured.
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure that was. I think that was Bautista out there, number 17. It looked like 11, but it actually number 17, Bautista, who bunted that ball.
You know, Poteet played that ball really well. She was coming in nicely, got right in on top of it, made a good turn, and started to throw to first base. It looked like the ball slipped right off the end of her fingertips, and now we wind up with people on second and third with nobody out, all going back to that very first call that could have been nobody on and 1 out.
And so that's going to bring up Jenna Alexander. Blue calling time, no pitch before the throw. Walks out of his position. 2 runners on. Allen walked on a controversial third strike that the umpire said was a bunt. And that brought up Bautista. Now there's a hit right over to shortstop. The throw's going to come home. And they're going to call her out at home, saving the run. What a great play by Nunnick. Nunnick throwing out Allen. She ran from third. She didn't even have to run, really. There was nobody forcing her. The play could have gone to first. But runners starting to advance. Bautista and Allen both running on the hit to the shortstop. It looked like it was going to go through there, Terry, for a second.
Well, you know, the Elk Grove coach was up talking to the home plate umpire. I don't think he was real happy with that call, but what he missed was that Tracy Hart blocked the play perfectly. She had her left knee on the ground, leg completely in front of home plate, and the runner literally could not get to the plate. Outstanding play by Tracy Hart.
So that Alexander takes second, and Bautista advances to third with one out now, and that brings up McGee, Taylor McGee. And she will take ball one. Taylor McGee actually has no batting average here. Didn't play very much, only in one game so far. There's a shot right through second base. That's going to go through. It's going to have eyes. One run is going to score. They're going to throw to first, but she's safe. She's off the base now, and she's going to second. And once again, the Miners go for the throw at home, where Alexander scores. Bautista had already scored on the hit. And then McGee advances over to third. They had McGee at second, but chose to go for the play at home instead of the out at second base. They could have had her in a rundown. Popular strategy, I think, for softball. Get the person in a rundown and then try and score the run.
Sneak the runner home has happened twice already here in the first inning. Outstanding play by Delana McGee, sliding in home, just getting her hand in underneath the block of the plate of Tracy Hart. Tracy was able to do it the time before, not this time because of a great slide by Delana McGee.
And that's going to bring up Nicole Cogswell. She'll hit the ball out in front of her. It's a plate by Schmidt. She'll pick it up, throw to first. In time. Okay, this time they go to second base, so it wasn't in time. The runner advancing. They're playing that run me down on second base, let's score the run from third.
I would say they work on that play. They've done it 3 times in the first inning, for heaven's sakes.
Well, this time Nevada Union finally caught on, got the out at second, and stopped the run from coming to first. So good play by the Miners there to get Cogswell out at second.
Can't believe that Kristen Schmidt didn't get that out at first base. She just made a tremendous throw across the diamond. I thought the runner was out for sure, but
yeah, I'm a little blocked by the coach Darren Chan here, but I can. It certainly did look bang bang. I was surprised too. Even more surprising that she went to second though, which is got her made an out. But like you said, that seems to be their strategy. Force the runs home.
Seems to be what they're doing here in the first inning anyway, Gil. 3 times in one inning is a little bit surprising to me, but they've got some runs out of it.
So that will bring up number 16, Delana McGee. And Delana McGee hitting 147. So not a real powerful hitter, 75 at bats. And she goes back to the on-deck circle. We got a timeout here as the Elk Grove coach checks with our home plate umpire.
Some kind of a controversy with the lineup. The umpire's looking at the lineup card he was presented before the game, and something seems to be out of order.
Well, McGee's still coming up to the plate. And the umpire is calling the other umpire over. They're going to confer, and they're going to get it right, which is the thing to do in a big playoff game like this.
Well, the Elk Grove coach doesn't seem to be concerned, but the home plate umpire's got a problem somewhere. He doesn't like what's on the lineup card compared to what's on the field in terms of the players.
And we got an ambient mic over there. Maybe they can.
That's a big 24. Craig.
Yeah, right person, wrong number.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll hear their conversation. Evidently, the girls somehow changed jersey numbers here. They got the right people, but the wrong numbers.
Okay, so number 24 is going to be Casey Craig then. She is 24. I won't even ask who's number 14 then, because it's not important at this point. But number 24 will now be Craig. Okay. Doesn't change the score any, though. It's 2-0 in favor of the Elk Grove Thundering Herd after a little bit of confusion plays. Forced confusion, I would say. And the umpire's still conferring out there. This is the first of several games that hopefully we'll be bringing you from the Sacramento softball complex. Tomorrow, it's going to be Forest Lake Christian, as they are already in the semifinals of the playoffs. And Forest Lake Christian will play Oris Temba, who beat Brookside Christian 14-1 to advance into the semifinals. So tomorrow, Forest Lake versus Oris Temba. Of course, if the Lady Miners win today, there will be game 2 about 25 minutes after this game. It'll be on a completely different field here at the Sacramento softball complex, and so the touchdown production crew will have to break an all-new record-setting setup and move to a whole new field, Terry.
Gil, a lesser team couldn't do it. I have complete confidence in you guys.
So, but first things first, let's get the W here for the Lady Miners as Dowd throws a strike in to McGee. And Dowd throwing another strike in there. Elk Grove Lady Herd not really giving Dowd a lot of time to work out there. They've been slapping at the ball first and second pitch. But now Becky's settling in. And ball outside.
Well, that would indicate that Becky's throwing a lot of strikes if they're swinging right away. So that's the good news. The bad news is they've made some contact and caused a couple miscues by the Miners.
And there's a ball right there. That brings the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Foul tip. Evens the count at 2-2 here. First inning action, top of the first inning actually. 2-0. The Thundering Herd, as they thundered out, created some confusion on the base paths and took advantage. Brings the count full for Turner. Has her down here as one of the third basemen. And she will let her go. Turner will get her walk to first. And that's the second walk issued by Dowd. Walking Allen in the first. And now McGee, later in the inning, 2 outs for the Lady Miners as they try to get the third out. And up to bat is going to be number 22, Holly Turner.
A little unusual for Becky Dowd to have 2 walks in the first inning. She only gave up 16 walks the entire season. So maybe she is just a bit out of rhythm here in the first inning starting this game.
Well, you know, you had a big weekend. And then, of course, school today coming down here. We'll see if she's able to settle down. The teams didn't really have as much warm-up as I've seen them have in the past, but that probably goes for all the teams. They didn't even open up the gate and let them in until 4 o'clock or so. So a little bit of a hamstring right there in order of, you know, you're out of your regular rhythm, you're in playoff situations.
Well, when you get into the playoffs in baseball and softball, and they're both the same in the fact that they have a double elimination tournament, the game schedule just gets to be so hectic that there's just, you know, basically you just get out there and play the games and hope you keep winning, and you almost have to warm up in the first couple of innings.
So the Miners out in the field. We have Schmidt at third, Nunnick at short, Jacobson at second, and Poteet at first. There's a pop fly. It's going to go out to Wixon. She's going to haul it in, and that's going to be the third out for the Lady Miners. So a little bit of damage done, a little bit of confusion by the Thundering Herd as they fly out to center field for the third out. And at the end of the top half of the first inning, it's going to be 2 for the Thundering Herd and 0, or actually not 0, but Lady Miners coming up to bat.
Coming up. And, the Miners came out of that inning pretty good considering there was 2 walks and an error and a controversial call, and they still only managed to give up 2 runs, so the damage could be a lot more serious.
Well, it's a long game, 7 innings, 12 innings if you go all the way to the very first game that they played on Saturday. So that was a pretty incredible game that they did right there. And see, I'm looking for my other sheet of paper here. Oh, there it is. As we set the lineup for you for the fielding positions. So we're going to have McGee out on third base. Your catcher is going to be Turner. On the mound, number 1, Courtney Allen.
And Courtney is not very big, but the fact of the matter is Elk Grove played 197 innings this season so far, and she has pitched 137 of those 197. So she's pitched all but 60 innings of the entire season. And, boy, that is a monumental effort. And she only has a .11 ERA. So we may see something special here today.
Well, everybody that's left in the tournament is special. There's a ball right there. Good eye by Olson. Kayla Olson for the Lady Miners. Batting .289. That's another ball right there. And I'm going to go here to the official score. What's the count there, Maddie? What's the count? Okay. 3-1 is the count. I was riding and got distracted, but we have Madeline Dow sitting next to us, the official scorekeeper of the Lady Miners. There's a nice hit. That ball's got eyes. It's going to go off the shortstop. Number 24, Taylor McGee. And that'll be I don't know how they're going to call that, an error?
That's a base hit in anybody's book. That was a tremendous play by the shortstop just to get a glove on that ball. That thing was headed for left field, and she managed to knock it down. But that's a base hit in my book.
All right, that's going to bring up Sarah Nunnick then. And Nunnick, probably have these out here where I could get to them. Nunnick batting .229 on the season with a .300 on base. She'll take ball as the infield comes in, preparing for the bunt. A lot of bunts are used in softball to move the runners around. And so Nunnick taking the ball, preparing to bunt. She'll pull it back. Take ball. Ball 2. Grenewalt for the Herd, cheating way up the first base line. She's creeping up still. Now she's in defensive position. Now she's walking up. Now it's a little slap out to the right-hand side.
Well, that's exactly the way the Miners played the same situation in the top half of this inning. Got the bad throw on the air. They had to play cover, but made a bad throw to first base. So I would say this is a standard softball procedure with runner on first and nobody out.
There's the bunt, laid down, beautiful, right in front. They'll throw her out at first. Grenewalt coming up for that, throwing over number 17, Bautista. covering first base. But it does its job, and it moves the runner over.
Beautiful bunt by Sarah Nunnick that time. Even had a little backspin on it, which caused it to stop, make it a little more difficult to pick up. But Elk Grove did a nice job of handling that situation.
So one is down here, and that brings up number 3. Actually, it's number 8. Excuse me. Number 8, Kristen Schmitty. Schmitty playing third base for the Miners today. Just a junior, so she'll be back in this program next year. Got a nice tip of it. Olson ready to bolt to third, has to go back to second. Outfielders playing actually pretty shallow.
Well, they better be careful because Kristen Schmidt is the leading RBI hitter on the Nevada Union team with 22 RBIs over the season.
Well, there's a lot of room out there down the left field line. I see some holes in the outfield. They're playing them straight away, so well-hit ball will travel a long way. Oh, she's way out in front of that. Strikes her out. Schmidt looking for the power right there. And that'll bring up number 4, Becky Dowd, the pitcher. She's way up in the box, it looks like. And she'll take a ball from Courtney Allen.
Well, Becky not only pitches well, she also is the second highest hitter in terms of RBIs for the Miners. She has 14 RBIs for the season, tying her with Amanda Poteet for second place in RBI totals for the Lady Miners.
Way out in front of that pitch, though, as Courtney gets ready to deliver. And she'll slap the ball once again over to shortstop as well. The ball's going to be in the dirt. It's going to be safe. Here comes Olson all the way home. She'll score easily. So Olson comes in from second base for the Lady Miners' first run of the day as Dowd hits the ball over to shortstop, but the ball goes into the dirt. And I'm not sure who they're going to call the error on, the shortstop on the throw or the first baseman on the catch, Greenwald or McGee.
I'd give it to the third baseman. That throw was in the dirt, difficult to pick up. Nice little lineup order here for the Lady Miners. Kristen Schmidt, 22 RBIs, followed by Becky Dowd, 14 RBIs, and now Amanda Poteet with 14 RBIs. There are 3 leading RBI hitters right in a row in the batting order. I guess you might call this the heart of the order, Gil.
Yeah, that's it. This is the meat of the lineup, no doubt about it. This is exactly where they were when we saw them beat Woodland. And Becky helping herself out with a nice hit and some good legs going to first. There's a hit right back to the pitcher. Allen, she'll turn, she'll throw to first, and the side is retired. That'll be a 1-3 put out at first for out number 3. And so the side is retired, but not until the Miners manufacture a run and bring one across. Olson on the hit by Dowd and the error on the play, and that makes their score 2-1. Nice solid inning there, Gil. Sometimes with high school players and in all sports, if they get a little bit behind, they just think they have to just get it all back right at once. But going in there, making a lot of contact, putting the ball in play, and getting one run back, nice inning for the Miners. Yeah, let's do that, Miles, since we came up a little bit late. Touchdown Productions coverage of the Lady Miners' road to the section title, and we'll just see how many we can get in here, is being brought to you by Magnuson's Auburn Toyota. Tony Toohey and David Harrison of Magnuson's are proud to announce the arrival of the next generation in automobiles. It's the new Toyota Scion. That's Magnuson's Auburn Toyota.
Taylor Heavy Hauling. Taylor keeps 35 trucks moving with no job too large or too small, specializing in material transportation for contractors, including concrete pipes and steel beams and girders. Taylor Heavy Hauling.
And the Breakfast Club Cafe. The Breakfast Club is open 6 days a week for your enjoyment, specializing in Eggs Benedict and other famous breakfast entrees. They even make their own corned beef hash over at the Breakfast Club Cafe.
I wish I'd have had that mentioned, Gil. That's one of my favorite places to eat in Auburn. I love that place.
Well, it's owned by the Chan family right there.
Golden Green Equipment Rentals. John and Becky Olson have been your neighbors since 1967 and are proud to announce the arrival of their new John Deere tractors and other new garden equipment like tillers and trenchers. Golden Green Equipment Rentals.
And that'll be all for now, guys. We'll save the other ones as we get ready for top of the second inning, and that's going to be bringing up number 12, which I don't even have in my lineup here. Grenewalt, Casey Grenewalt. What do we know about her?
She's a senior, plays first base and catcher, and is a .219 hitter with not much else in her resume, although she has a .353 on-base percentage.
And she's playing first base today. Two to one the score, top of the second inning. And what looks like it's going to be a really, really fun game here. Both teams looks like they're ready to hit. They're ready to score.
Well, both teams are putting a lot of balls in play so far, Gil. Neither pitcher has just dominated in terms of just mowing people down with strikeouts and so forth. The ball is. I think there's only been one strikeout so far in the game, and the ball is in play, and that makes baseball and softball really interesting.
Another ball offered up by Dowd. That'll make the count 3 balls, 1 strike. As a ball comes in, is out in the... Just feel free to grab something up here, Madeline. That's okay. Just rip a paper out of my hands. Oh. There's a hit right over to Schmidt. Schmidt will pick it up, fire it over to first base to Poteet, and they will get it. So that'll be 5-3 on the putout for all you keeping score at home. And 1 away.
You know, Gil, I just noticed something. Not being a high school softball aficionado, I just noticed that it's about 50-50 in terms of the girls that are wearing visors and are not wearing any kind of headgear. Just strikes me a little funny as watching
Dow tries to change up right there.
Softball game, and they're not wearing any headwear.
Well, I don't have the answer for that.
It's got to be that hair thing, don't you think?
Well, Schmidt, she's got that hair thing going over there at third, and Dowd probably doesn't want a hat on the mound right there. Her hair is pulled back in a ponytail.
Well, some of them are wearing visors, which that makes sense to me.
We need a visor here.
Seems like
for the monitor.
Yeah, we do. We need a great big visor. We might even be able to see what the game looks like.
Okay, so Haley Andrews stepping into the plate for the Thundering Herd. And there's a slap right over to Poteet. She'll handle it herself at first base. Picks it up. Nice pitch by Dowd to make her ground it out right over to Poteet. And that'll be a single put out by Poteet for out number 2. And that'll bring up the top of the order again with Allen.
Pitcher and leadoff hitter. Interesting combination. 376 batting average, 417 on base percentage. Nice player.
Poteet, Allen had that controversial strikeout and then wound up walking. Thrown out at home. Started the first inning fireworks off, you might say. It was an exciting first inning, a lot of runners, a lot of scoring. As Becky throws another ball, 2 balls, 1 strike, the count now. Over to Allen. Dowd, she'll look at the sign, work the rubber, offer the ball. That one will be high. came rising in, wound up around her shoulders. So Dowd worked her into a 3-1 count. There's a little dribble.
Trying to get a look over here at Coach Chan for the Lady Miners. It looks like he's calling every pitch.
It is going to be fun, the fact that we get to sit next so close to the Lady Miners. Right there,
Yeah.
there's the signal going in right there.
I think he's calling every single pitch.
Beautiful line drive, shortstop catch by Sarah Nunnick, and that's going to end the inning. And, you know, as a softball player, you love to see those coming in there.
3 up, 3 down. That's a nice inning, nice recovery after the first inning, which was a little shaky, a couple of walks, an error. That inning, 1, 2, 3.
And so that line drive, very exciting play. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, and actually we'll do a couple on the next page as well. So, Touchdown Productions of the Lady Miners' Road to the Section Title is being generously underwritten today by Barbara Parrott, Coldwell Banker, Grassroots Realty. Agent Barbara Parrott can guide you through any real estate or land acquisition in Western Nevada County, whether you are buying or selling. Barbara Parrott can assist you. That's Barbara Parrott, Coldwell Banker, and Grassroots Realty.
And by Touchdown Productions, championship television for the Foothills. Thank you for tuning in throughout the Foothills on ACTV Channel 20 in Auburn, NCTV 11 in Grass Valley, and Channel 23 in Bear River and Colfax.
All righty, and that'll bring us up to our next batter, which will be Tracy Hart. And she's the girl behind the plate, wearing all the masks and making it all happen there. Beautiful blocking the plate in the first inning to register an out for the Lady Miners. And she'll take ball. There's a slap down to the first base side. It's going to go foul, though, before the bag. So that's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike. Darren Chan on third base, the head guy of the Lady Miners. Hart way in front of that one, as Darren's giving some batting tips to Tracy.
Tracy hitting .290 for the season. Only 4 strikeouts for the entire season, so evidently she makes pretty good contact.
Made a little contact right there to stay alive. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Game 1 of our doubleheader if the Lady Miners win. There's a ball. Which brings up the question, you know, that's a tough road to hoe, Terry. Got to win double hitters today, double hitter Wednesday, and then a double hitter Friday if you want to be the section champion.
Well, it's the double elimination tournament is the famous good news, bad news things. If you can stay out of the consolation bracket, it's good news. If you're in the consolation bracket, it's good news because you're still alive, but it's bad news because, boy, the games just come roaring at you, and you just, you know, it's the famous NBA slogan, you got to win or go home at that point.
So Hart grounds out to Bautista, who throws it over to Greenwald to register the first out for Elk Grove in this bottom of the second inning. And that's going to bring up Griggs. Griggs playing second base for the Miners today. Here's the next pitch.
Well, Ashley not sporting a great batting average this season, just hitting .196, but she does lead the team in walks with 23.
That shows a lot of patience up there at the plate.
Also gives her a nice .420 on-base percentage.
Here's the offering from Allen. High pitch. And Griggs went ahead and struck at it. Missed it, and that'll be the second strikeout for Allen. She got Schmidt on a strikeout in the first inning. So that brings up Wixon now. Wixon playing center field. And Allen is really on. You see her wind up in her delivery. She's putting it right down the middle right there, challenging those hitters. Here she is in the windup. Wixon ahead of it.
A little bit of a hurry. That ball was way low, not in the strike zone. Needs to maybe step out of the box here and gather herself a little bit.
Day spinning the ball on the mound. That's going to be a ball as Wixon waits for the umpire. You know, Allen spins the ball like I do out there. When I'm out there, I'll spin the ball in my hand, wait for the seams just to land right, and then you're ready. Oh, change up by Allen.
Very nice pitch.
Freezes Wixon right there, and that records her second strikeout of the inning, third strikeout overall, and the Miners go down 1-2-3, just like Elk Grove did. So a little bit of action in the first inning. Both teams go down 1-2-3.
Well, it looks like both teams are settling into the game now, Gil. A little shaky at the start. Not unusual for high school kids getting a playoff situation. Both teams, I noticed, especially the Miners, are a very young team. I think they only have 3 seniors, if I remember counting correctly, on this team. So you might have had some kids out there a little nervous in the first inning. They're young. They're in the playoffs. They're in a very tight situation where they have to win the game to stay alive. So maybe that first inning, the jitters got them a little bit, but now they appear to be settled down.
So we have a minute here before we get to the top of the third inning, and I want to remind everybody that the NCTV Advisory Board is still taking public suggestions and comments about the rules and procedures for NCTV, and you want to be able to call NCTV and ask our new executive director, Lou Sitzer, how you can add your comments and get them in there to the advisory board and help keep your game of the week on the air in Grass Valley. It's important that we feel it's important anyway that we're able to continue doing what we do, and we're glad that you're tuning in each week and enjoying the best of local sports. As Dowd gets ready to offer up the first pitch to Rebecca Bautista. Rebecca bunted the first inning. They tried to get the advancing runner, and she made it safely to first and wound up scoring the very first run for the Thundering Herd. And she'll take a ball. Game settling down now into the sport that all the girls know. Dowd on the mound. And she'll offer a strike in there.
Bautista, 308 hitter on the season.
As Tracy Hart gets the sign from Darren Chad, who gives it to, once again, there's a pop-up right there behind home plate. Hart's got to play. No, it goes out of bounds. Looked for a second there like that was going to hang up. And Tracy Hart, mask off, legs a flying. Not too much of a distance, really, between home plate and the backstop. So
no, it's pretty close. There's not much room to roam, and that's one of my favorite plays. I love to see catchers turn around and chase those fly balls. I'm always amazed at how they catch those things. It just seems to me like it would be one of the hardest things there is to do in sports.
There's a ball in the dirt. So the ball getting away a little bit from Becky. And the ump's going to show us a 2-2 count now. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rebecca Bautista. And she'll pop it again. She'll pop it again. This time Hart doesn't make the play.
I just don't know how they do that, Gil. She even got a late jump on that ball. You have to turn your back completely to the playing field. The ball is spinning like crazy, and catchers, I don't know, maybe it's part of their DNA makeup or something. They just managed to make those plays, and I just think it's one of the most difficult skill plays in all the sports.
Well, you're right. She did get a late jump on the ball. She thought it was going to be out, but the crowd yelling at her that it's going to be in, and she still had time. I thought she was going to dive for it. She did reach out an awful long way. Able to haul it in, though, for the first out. So great defensive play there by Tracy Hart for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Alexander. Jenna Alexander for the Herd. And Jenna scored on her first time up at bat today. She was the second run during the inning of confusion, as we'll call it right now. And it's a 1-1 count. Dowd offers a little bit of a changeup, and Alexander slaps it over to the left-hand side, way out in front of that ball. Olson throws the ball into Nunnick, who throws it into Dowd. Miners in the outfield. Looks like Olson is shading her over to the left-hand side. Wixon now shifting to the other side of second base. There's another changeup by Dowd, trying to confuse her right there.
They had a big shift on that time. They had the second baseman and the shortstop on the same side of the field, the Miners.
Oh, boy, that ball was close right down at the knees, but he's going to call it a ball. That's going to make it a 3-2 count now for Jenna Alexander. One down here in the top of the third inning.
And Jenna leads her team in walks with 9 for this season.
And there's another walk right there.
Good patient hitter.
That's only the third walk of the day for Becky. And so that'll bring up number 24, Casey Craig.
A .354 hitter.
She made it to third last time as Hart comes up, looks into first base. Poteet's playing way up the line, so that means Jacobson has to come over from second base if they're going to they're going to have a play at first.
Casey's the second leading hitter, following only Courtney Allen at .376 with Casey Craig at .354.
And I don't remember her batting left-handed last time. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. But Casey Craig coming up in the left-handed position here of this at-bat. Fouls that ball, previous ball off. There's another foul. That one's going to go out of play. Schmidt after it.
You know, Gil, I don't remember her batting left-handed her last at-bat either, and she doesn't look real comfortable left-handed.
So, 2-2 the count. To Craig. See, the monitor's getting better. There's another reaching for an outside pitch. And swinging a little bit late, got a piece of it, send it again over the fence. No, we've got our team of experts here right to the left of us.
And that's good because we need all the help we can get.
Amen to that. Oh, there's a big slap right out, right over the head of Jacobson. That's going to go all the way out to the middle of the field. Run is going to score. Here comes the ball. All the way over to Schmidt. And Casey Craig is going to have herself a triple. Hitting it to right field over the head of Jacobson. Jacobson playing in a little bit, but she really saw a pitch that she liked. She was way ahead of that ball, batting left-handed, and just drove the ball out to right field. And so that walk, an unearned run by the Lady Miners, makes it 3-1 now as they huddle up out on the pitching mound.
Well, that's interesting, Gil, because if our stat sheets are correct, that is Casey Craig's first RBI of the season.
Well, then I'll make a note of it.
Somebody should.
Yeah, see, I got a little box right here that says RBI. You can put one in there.
Yeah.
So there she goes, and that was a triple out to right field, and a well-hit ball, line drive, way back. That ball rolled all the way to the middle of the outfield, and that's got to be 300 feet. It is 300 feet all the way around the perimeter of this diamond right here. Normal home run depth would be a couple hundred feet. So that ball rolled a couple hundred feet plus some until Aaron Jacobson was able to pick it up and fire that ball in. By that time, Craig had advanced all the way to third. There's our shot right there from our scissor lift, being donated today by M&M Machine, the Duckett family.
And we appreciate that tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Gives us a little different look at the field. And a really nice throw and relay on that play, I think, prevented an in-the-park home run. I really thought we had an in-the-park home run there, but the Miners' defense came up with a really nice throw and a really nice relay to actually have a play at third base.
And that's going to bring up number 10, Nicole Cogswell. There's a shot of the scissor lift up there. Walt Baker got it made in the shade. Looks like it's even moving a little bit.
How come he's so lucky?
I don't know.
We're sitting here frying.
Not anymore.
Pretty nice now, though. Yeah, you're
now
right.
It's no. We got some shade. Thank God to Mother Nature. Got a big tree that's going to be blocking the sun, and we're starting to sit pretty here.
Man, we're looking good, Gil.
Okay, here we go. Runner on third. One down in the inning. There's a slap right over. The ball's going to come home. She's going to have it at home. Tracy Hart able to dig it out of the dirt. Nunnick's throw. Nunnick, let's back up a little bit. Nunnick made a fabulous play at shortstop to dig out that hot grounder. Had a little trouble with it. Picked it up, immediately gunned it to home. Was in a little bit of a hurry. Ball went into the dirt, though. Tracy Hart able to dig it out and once again, like you said, block the plate very effectively.
That's her second really good play of this game. She really knows how to block the plate. She gets her left leg down on the third base line. You can't get in there. Plus, she had to dig that ball out of the dirt in one bounce. That's a terrific play by that catcher.
And so Casey Craig, after her triple, will be throwing out 6-2 at home. So now Cogswell's at first, and up at bat right here is Delana McGee. Ball's going to get by hard, and sliding head first is Cogswell, although she didn't have to slide at all. There was no throw coming. The ball getting away from Hart. Dowd throwing it in the dirt. Bounced off the wooden backstop and straight back to Hart, but no throw down to second. Two down now here in the top of the third inning. Miners looking to close out the inning here. There's a sharply hit ball. Over to the left-hand side. Delana McGee. She walked her first at bat, made it to first, and that's where she was left stranded. There's a shot, right over Nunnick's glove. It's going to be picked up, though. The ball's coming all the way in, and she's going to be safe at home. Hart tagging her just in case she missed the base, and that was a very close play right there. Beautiful throw by Wixon. All the way in. Dowd was going to stop it, but then decided to let it roll because it was close enough. So Wixon showing her arm from center field.
And that ball was just hit on a line, Gil. That was a frozen rope, and had that throw been a little more on target, they would have had a really good play there at the plate again. But unfortunately, catcher Hart had to move up the third base line and left the home plate open. So
that's 2 runs for the Miners as the ball goes to Schmidt. And
hit her in the foot.
Yep. This umpire is all over it right here at home plate. This is Turner at bat, number 22. Holly Turner.
I don't know how that feels with a softball, Gil, but with a baseball, that really hurts. If you hit the ball right down on your own foot. I would imagine that softball is just as hard, and that girl didn't even flinch.
There's a slap. Sign him up right there.
Well, he better field it. He's the coach, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, you think so? Looks like he's having fun out there, having fun with his girls. Can't be any more fun, though, playoff baseball. You've made it this far. Got your group of girls working for you. There's a slap right out to Wixon. She's going to throw it all the way home. Big arm by Wixon. Nobody there, though. No run. Sarah Wixon with a big arm on the fly all the way into Hart.
That throw saved a run because the Elk Grove coach was a little panicky there at third base, hoping he could get his runner stopped, and he did in time because he could see that throw was going to be really good.
So that's going to be a single for Holly Turner, and then she advances to second on the throw. That puts Delana McGee on third base. The run did not score, and Darren Chan's going to be calling timeout. They're going to be setting up a play right now with 2 outs in the third inning. Elk Grove threatening right here to put more on the board already. Jenna Alexander scored on the triple by Casey Craig at the top of the inning. Alexander was put on by a walk, so that was an unearned run for the Lady Miners, who right now have 2 outs. And should be Grenewalt, Casey, or is that Cassie? Cassie.
I would say it's Cassie.
Cassie Grenewalt. She's playing first base, left-hander. Dow delivers.
And this is a pretty good situation for the Lady Miners. There are 2 on with 2 out, but they have at the plate Elk Grove's second highest strikeout player with 17 on the season, second only to Courtney Allen, who has 18 strikeouts. So this is a player that strikes out pretty much, and that would be a good thing with 2 runners in scoring position right here.
Well, that's why she's batting 8th. Down at the bottom of the lineup. Plays a mean first base, though. Regular first baseman for the Herd as Dowd sets. Here's delivers. There's a nice hit out into the right field. That's going to go right into the gap. 2 runs are going to score. Here's the big throw from Wixon. Here's the throw into Schmidt, and she will be safe. And Cassie Grenewalt's going to have herself a triple and a beautiful hit right out to right field.
Boy, Gillen, that's why we play this game.
That's why you don't say anything about anything while they're batting.
The second highest strikeout player on the team rips a triple to right center field to score 2 runs.
That's right. She brings in Delana McGee and Holly Turner, and so just like that now, that's going to make it 5-1, and the Lady Miners, while certainly not in danger of losing today, does not look good right now, as 3 runs have already crossed. And as a matter of fact, Darren Chan going to be making a pitching change right now. And Becky Dowd pitching a lot of innings on Saturday in that 12-inning affair to start the playoffs. Not on her usual game, as they have come to expect her.
A lot to ask from a high school kid to pitch that much.
Who are they bringing in? Rochelle Chan is going to come in here, and that'll be flip my book over right here. Let me check with the scorekeeper as to where they're going to put her. Is she going in the same batting order then as Becky?
Well, Rochelle has pitched 58 innings this season. She has a .97 ERA, 59 strikeouts, and only 5 walks.
So Rochelle will take over the pitching duties for NU as number 44, Haley Andrews, steps up to the plate. And Andrews made the second out of the second inning. Rochelle, daughter of Darren Chan, the coach. I know he works with her a lot, and she has pitched an awful lot in her young career. There's a ball hit right up to Nunnick, fires over to first, and there's the out.
Great play by Nunnick, charged the ball, took control of the situation immediately, and fires to first base for the third out. I'm getting better, Gil. I didn't say anything about that batter. That batter was only a 176 hitter, but I didn't say anything.
Well, you know how that is when you talk about the free throw percentage or what a great, we've seen that in basketball already. As soon as you talk about them, then they do the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah, I learned slow, but I learned good.
It never ceases to amaze me. I forget what game we were at, and Marty said something. And then they went on to score a touchdown or something like that. Oh, I know what it was. It was against Elk Grove, as a matter of fact. 2 seasons ago, second round of the playoffs, Nevada Union and Elk Grove, they're ahead 21-0 in the fourth quarter. I mean, not 21. They're ahead by 21 points. And Elk Grove comes back to win the game. And the Elk Grove fans were filing out of the stadium, and they thought it was all over. And Elk Grove comes back from 21 points behind in the fourth quarter to beat Nevada Union in advance. Your connection is okay now, Grady. We have word from the truck. And Grady Fike says good. Grady coming down with us, along with the whole crew and the commander today.
And a good crew they are.
Yeah, we were a little bit stressed. We'd never brought a scissor lift with us before, and had to hook up a trailer and all kinds of stuff. But
you pulled a trailer with a commander?
No, we brought the pickup truck too.
Oh, okay.
So we were multi-vehicle today. As Jacobson steps in for Nevada Union. This will be her first time at bat. Nevada Union not even hitting through the lineup yet, and it's the bottom of the third inning. And that'll be a strike. 1-1 the count now to Aaron Jacobson, playing right field. Seen some action over there. 2 strikes now. As Courtney Allen. Oh, Courtney Allen on her game, man. I'm telling you, the way she's pitching out there, it's a lot of confidence. And it's going to be hard to stop that confidence for the Miners.
Well, obviously they have a great deal of confidence in her because she's pitched so many innings. I mean, she's pitched all but 60 innings for this team during the entire season. So they certainly think that she's got a lot left in the tank, and they think that she's going to just keep on going.
So now we come up to the top of the order for NU. They finally bat around through their lineup, and Kayla Olson will step up to the plate. Ooh, inside pitch. Kind of brushing her back right there. That'll make the count 1-1. Five to 1 is your score here, bottom of the third inning. As Allen gets set, she fires a strike. And you can just tell by the way she's throwing out there that Allen, she's all business. Although she's smiling right now. All business on the mound.
I guess she would be the epitome of the old saying, dynamite comes in small packages.
Kayla Olson going down on strikes right there for the second out of the inning, second strikeout, fifth strikeout overall for Allen. So major strikeouts happening for this Elk Grove team.
Well, she's settled down and she's in an awfully good rhythm, looking very confident on the mound. This would not, however, be all that unusual. Having pitched 137 innings, Courtney Allen this season has 168 strikeouts in those 137 innings. So she's a little better than 1 an inning for the season.
There's a little slap right over to the first baseman, Greenwald. And that will end the inning right there for the Lady Miners. 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts and a little pop fly over to first base. And so no hits, no runs for that inning. Only outs. And that's going to make the score 5-1. There you can see your line score right there in favor of your Elk Grove Thundering Herd. Lady Miners going quietly the last 2 innings, 3 up, 3 down. Have a new pitcher out there, though. And that's going to be don't tell me. I know who it is. Rochelle Chan.
And Rochelle has put together a nice little season, only having pitched 58 innings, but she has 59 strikeouts as opposed to only 5 walks in those 58 innings, and just slightly less than a 1-run ERA, .97. 10 wins, 1 loss.
So the outfield for the Miners, Kayla Olson in left field, Sarah Wixon in center, and Aaron Jacobson, in right. As Chan gets ready to pitch to the top of the lineup. This is Allen. She's going to pop it up. It's going out to left field, out to Olson. She'll call it in. Kind of a Texas leaguer. A little bit scary, though, because of the wind there, Terry.
Well, the center fielder and left fielder did a nice job of avoiding confusion there. You could see that there was communication going on between the two. Those are the kinds of little pop fly deals where people crash into each other often, and the Nevada Union girls handle that situation perfectly.
Okay, so that'll bring up Rebecca Bautista. And Bautista's playing second base. This is her third time up. She bunted in the first inning and wound up scoring the first run. She flied out to the catcher in the third inning. Now here she's up again in the fourth inning. Rochelle throws a changeup.
Batista, 308 hitter, only 10 strikeouts on the season. Nice little hitter in this part of the order.
Chan checks the signals now. Another changeup, and it's going to be a soft hit right out to Olson, right where she was standing. So Kayla Olson hauling down 2 balls that come right out to her.
Really nice pitch there by Chan, a changeup that just had the batter, Rebecca Batista, completely confused. Barely got the tip of the bat on the ball. Nice, easy, lazy fly ball out to left field. Very, very nice change of speed pitch by Chan.
So it's the Olson inning here as she hauls in 2 balls out in her left field position, and that's going to bring up Jenna Alexander. Alexander scored the first inning, walked the third inning, and scored. So she scored twice so far this game. This is her third time up in the top of the fourth inning. So lots of at-bats for the Elk Grove team. As Rochelle puts one in the dirt. And
That'll bring it to 1-1. Looks like Chan is throwing some change-ups out there.
And it's got the Elk Grove hitters a little off balance right at the moment.
There's a ball high. Doesn't seem to have quite the speed as Dowd, but maybe a little bit more deceptive in her placement of the pitches.
As long as she can keep her location good, she doesn't put one of those change-ups in the heart of the plate where somebody can get a really good swing at it, she'll be fine. Sometimes a pitcher that throws as many change-up as she's thrown, that almost becomes her main pitch, and the fastball becomes the change-up. It's so much different than what she's been throwing, but she's been throwing it effectively so far.
That's a very good point. And she will put Jenna Alexander on, though, after working her to a 3-1 count. And that'll be her first walk.
This guy that's umpiring behind the plate is not giving much down around the knees. If it's anywhere near low, he's been calling the ball so far this game.
So Casey Craig comes to the plate. Casey hit that triple out to right field her last time at bat.
You gonna keep bringing that up, are you?
Just trying to be factual, Terry.
Guy makes one mistake, you won't let him live it down, huh?
Oh, I forgot all about that aspect.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, sure you did.
Oh, that wasn't the one. This was out to right field, though, as well, and handled easily by Aaron Jacobson. The ball was actually being carried by the wind, and that will be it right there. So 1 walk, 3 fly ball outs, 2 to left field, 1 to right field, and that will end the inning. For the ladies, and your score is going to be 5-1 as the Miners get set to come up here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And I would think that they would have to start manufacturing some runs, Terry, at this point. Play some little ball, get some bunts going, something that's going to generate a little bit of some base runners.
Well, Courtney Allen is, after the first inning, has just been pitching so well the rest of the game. Since then, she's just been pretty dominant on the mound. But I think you're exactly right. The Miners have got to find some way to get the bat on the ball, get some contact, put some balls in play, and make the Elk Grove team make some plays. And if they make them, well, then it's more power to them. But if they don't, now you've got some base runners, and maybe you can get something going here.
So, looking to get something going is going to be Schmidt.
Boy, that's a good pitch. She is, Courtney Allen is just throwing with great authority. She seems to be getting a little stronger as the game goes along. Hasn't showed any signs of wavering. A beautiful changeup comes with the fastball on the first pitch, and then a nice off-speed pitch to follow it.
And that'll be so Kristen playing third base. They call her Schmitty. She'll wait for Courtney Allen's delivery, and there she's reaching right out in front of it. A little bit late, but she'll stay alive on that swing.
Yeah, right now Courtney Allen is just working a tremendous mix of basically 3 pitches. She's throwing the fastball, throwing a little changeup, and also throwing the famous softball rise ball, having the Nevada Union hitters just a bit off balance.
There's a little dribbler right up to Allen. She'll throw it over to first base to Grenewalt. I'm going to call her Greenwalt.
I think that's better.
All right, thank you. Just doesn't sound good, Grenewalt. It's to Greenwalt, and Greenwalt will haul it in, so that's going to be a 1-3 put out for Schmidt. and the first out of the inning, which brings up Rachel Chan. Rochelle, excuse me. Rochelle replacing Becky Dowd on the mound. And in the lineup, has not batted.
And Rochelle hasn't developed much in the way of statistics in terms of hitting this season. She's only had 32 at-bats the entire season, hitting .094, but she's done a good job on the mound since they brought her in.
And very patient right there. She'll take a ball. One ball, two strikes.
She would appear to have a pretty good eye, though, in only 32 at-bats. She has 10 walks, so she must be being a pitcher, she probably has a good understanding of the strike zone.
So that'll make the count 2-2. And Rachel will be ahead of that pitch. Or Rochelle, excuse me.
Look for maybe a little change up here, possibly a rise ball.
As Allen spins the ball in her hand, gets ready to deliver. Outside. Full count to Rochelle Chan. Second minor up in your fourth inning, bottom of the fourth inning. Elk Grove leading 5-1. Winner moves on. Loser calls it a season, and that's going to drop in right behind second base, right in front of number 23, Jenna Alexander.
And you know, Gil, that's just a really good at bat for Rochelle. Works the count to 3-2. Managed to get a foul ball in there. Let a couple of pitches go that were pretty close. Nicely decided to let them go, as the British tennis players would say, well left. But just worked and worked and worked. Made the pitcher Courtney Allen throw a lot of pitches, and then 3-2. Just get a little blooper right into center field. No problem.
And that will bring up Amanda Poteet. Amanda will slap it down to the shortstop. They'll go to the second base for one, over to first base, not in time. So McGee handling the ball over to Batista on the ground out, throwing over to Greenwald. Not in time, though, to catch the speedy Poteet. And that'll be a 6-4 put out right there for the second out. And that's going to bring up Tracy Hart. Hart's only been up one other time in the second inning, and she grounded out to second base.
Well, Gil, I don't know what other people think, but just what I've seen so far in this game, this girl would play on my team if she didn't get a hit all year. She is a sensational catcher.
Working hard behind the plate all year long. I'm sure she knows the strike zone as well as anybody, seeing it all the time. She'll take ball two right there, as Allen not looking as dominant as she was before in the first few innings. Maybe she's trying to move the ball around a little bit. There's a hit up right through shortstop. Picked up, fired over to first base. Sliding, McGee picks it up and throws it over to Greenwald for the third out. So Tracy Hart hits into a 6-3 put out over at first base, and that will end the inning. So for the Lady Miners, they get one hit, single by Rochelle Chan, who gets put out at second base on the fielder's choice by Poteet, keeping alive the double play, and so that'll be no runs for the Lady Miners. And the score is 5-1 with Cogswell, McGee, and Turner coming up to bat for Elk Grove. And so we've got a minute here. Let's remind everybody that Touchdown Productions coverage of the Lady Miners Road to the Section title is being underwritten by Liberty Motors. Liberty Motors is your local Dodge Chrysler Plymouth dealer, proudly displaying the 2004 turbocharged PT Cruiser and its convertible sister now at Liberty Motors.
Have you seen those little convertible PT Cruisers?
They're cute.
Oh, boy, they're something special. Hanson Brothers, Construction and HBE Rentals. Rental manager Craig Arthur has a full-service rental facility for you with everything you need to get the job done right, from carpet cleaners, pressure washers, and aerial lifts. HBE Rentals and Hanson Brothers Construction.
And Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Dennis Aday specializes in residential service, repair, and replacement, and carries a selection of heating and air conditioning units from Bryant, Gibson, and Goodman. That's Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. And that'll be all for right now, guys, as we got batter coming up to bat. And that batter is going to be Nicole Cogswell. Nicole's third time up at bat. She scored in the third inning, and she'll take a strike here from Chan. Rochelle Chan relieving Becky Dowd in the third inning to finish up the inning. There's a slap out to the right by Cogswell. That'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes. Pitched a fairly uneventful fourth inning, had 1 walk.
Little 0-2 count here. A little good time to tempt the batter with a little off-speed pitch, maybe something on a corner. There it is, the changeup.
That's what it was. Holding her hand out, kind of looking over her dad, saying, "Is that what you wanted?"
I don't think he wanted a one bouncer in the dirt, but certainly the strategy was the right strategy. A little off-speed pitch. You got 2 strikes, no balls. It's a good time to tempt the batter with something not quite in the strike zone.
And we're going to have a timeout right here as Kayla Olson goes over to shag some balls. The other team not very good at playing catch over there. They're waiting for their next game and unable to keep the balls out of the field of play. So Darren making a comment about it, and the umpire obliging him, calling timeout. And
well, that's all you need is for somebody to go chasing a fly ball over there and step on one of those loose balls and sprain an ankle or something worse.
So that taken care of. We're back to business here in the top half of the 5th inning. No outs, 2 strikes on Nicole Cogswell, who's staying in line with a couple of foul balls as Rochelle gets ready to deliver the pitch. Way up high, kind of rose up right there. She's got some pitches to give, though. That's her first ball. That'll be 1 ball, 1 strike. Way out in front of that. There's that changeup right there that we're talking about.
You know, that ball has a little drop on it at the end, too. That's just a vicious, vicious pitch.
And that'll be Rochelle's first strikeout of the game. And 1 out for the Thundering Herd as Delana McGee will come up. She's playing third base.
And she steps in with a 147 batting average.
And she'll take a strike. So I see a little bit of confidence developing on Rochelle as she pitches into the lineup. Completely different style from Dowd.
Yeah, and you know, that's the kind of thing I think you like to have when you change pitchers is, the Elk Grove team was getting a little bit of a groove on the starting pitcher, and now you bring somebody else in with a totally different delivery, totally different selection of pitches. And
there's a pop-up right over into the left center field. That one's going to drop in, though. Almost gets by Olsen as she comes running in. Ball thrown into Griggs, though. And runner does not advance. So a little bloop single right over the head of Nunnick, falling right in between that triangle there of Olson, Wixon, and Nunnick. And that will be a single for Delana McGee to get a runner on base here for the Thundering Herd.
The famous soft line drive.
And there's a pitch getting away from Hart. And McGee easily advances over to second base. Holly Turner, the batter. Flied out to center field her first time up at bat. Had a single and scored in the third inning. So she's 1 for 2. There's a slap right over there to Nunnick. Nunnick will check the runner, throw over to first base to Poteet, and they will get him. Nunnick owning a gun out there.
And she made that play just the way the coaches would like to have her play. She fielded the ball, took a quick look at the runner at second base to make sure she wasn't going anywhere, and then just put some heat on it across the diamond right to the first baseman.
Cassie Greenwald, the batter now, first baseman. Cassie, it's only her second time up. She tripled. That's the triple.
That's
her first time at bat. It wasn't the other triple. Ball inside by Chan. Runner does not advance. Hart coming up on the play. So 2 down here in the 5th inning. Time running a little short for the Lady Miners. Need to set down Greenwald right here and get in and do some batting. Ball in the dirt. Runner advances. There'll be no throw over to Schmidt, though. And so McGee on her bloop single to short left center will advance all the way to third. 1-1 count to Greenwald, as we can hear some action happening over in stadium number 2.
Boy, that's a nice pitch right on the outside corner. A little movement on the ball. Tremendous pitch.
We're playing here at field number 3 today. There's 4 fields here at the Sacramento Softball Complex. Located right in the belly, I would say, of 80 and I-80, the interchange right there. Business 80 cars moving across the outfield. There's a shot right up to Poteet. Nice little bouncer. She'll pick it up and handle it herself. So just like that, that's just what the Lady Miners needed, as ground out to third base ends the inning. And no runs, no hits. No, excuse me, 1 hit. Left a runner on base. And no runs scored, though, so still 5-1 as the Lady Miners have a couple more innings to try and take care of business. And while they're doing that, we'll let you know that Touchdown Productions coverage of today's playoff Lady Miner softball game is being underwritten by Placer Title Company, Larry Ingersoll and his staff. Specialize in complete title service and escrow for complete peace of mind in your real estate transactions in Nevada and Placer counties. That's the Placer Title Company.
Soft Answers. Dallas Wilbaum is a local software specialist and can assist you in problem solving along with computer software creation, and is proud to support NU Lady Miner Softball. Soft Answers, and by Touchdown Productions, championship television for the Foothills. Thank you for tuning in and choosing the Foothill Game of the Week as part of your family viewing each week as we present the very best in high school softball as we head into the playoffs right here on your Foothill Game of the Week.
Yeah, it won't be too long. We'll be talking about football.
Yeah, soon.
Just a couple months.
Very soon. What do you think the Raiders are going to do? They're going to get rid of Gannon, you think?
I don't think about that stuff. I think NU, Bear River, Placer, Colfax.
Good for you, Gil. You're my kind of guy.
Got some defending champion Colfax Falcons coming up. Nevada Union, of course, looking to go further in the playoffs. Got the Herrera brothers going to be in their senior year, that whole class. Bear River's going to have a good team, so... In the meantime, we got a new pitcher on the mound, Heather Garrison for the Herd. And this is the girl that we saw warming up, and I was saying, wow, take a look at her. I thought Courtney was losing a little bit on her ball, and apparently the coach thought so also, bringing Heather Garrison in now. Speed baller. This girl can really whip her arm around and fling that ball right in there as we were watching her warm up before the game.
Well, Heather's only pitched 34 innings this year, but in those 34 innings, her ERA is 0, with 38 strikeouts in 34 innings and only 3 walks and a season record of 5-0.
Ashley Griggs is the batter. Ashley struck out in the second inning. Oh, there's a slap right up the middle. They're going to have time. Yes, they are. They're going to pick it up and throw it over to the first. That's Bautista to Greenwald. So that's a 4-3 put out for the first out of the inning. And that will bring up Miss Wixon. Sarah Wixon playing a great game out in center field. Had some big throws that she had to make in.
Oh.
And she'll take a ball down low.
And as we stated earlier, you're getting nothing low from this guy. You better get it up in the strike zone or he's not going to call it a strike.
Wixon also struck out in the second inning to end the inning there. And there she pops it up over to the right-hand side, over by where the lovely Commander sits.
The lovely Commander. What a vehicle.
We'll be on this field tomorrow. Field number 3. This is where the Forest Lake Christian Lady Falcons will play their game. And we'll have all that action for you in Division 5. There's a hit over to third base to McGee. She'll pick it up, throw it to Greenwald, and that's out number 2 for the inning.
You know, Heather Garrison looks like she's a fastball pitcher. I haven't seen anything else since she came in the game this inning. And this is kind of an interesting change here by the Elk Grove coach because obviously, as we noted earlier, Courtney Allen just throws all the innings for this team, 137 out of 197 innings. You kind of wonder if maybe he thinks this one's over and he's maybe saving Courtney for the next game.
Well, at some point or another, you do have to look toward the next game. 5th inning, 5-1 lead. You're in the driver's seat, that's for sure.
Yeah, but stranger things have happened.
And there's a strike. Aaron Jacobson now.
But I guess when you can bring in your relief pitcher who has an 0.00 ERA, you can feel pretty confident, huh?
Well, maybe she's the closer.
Could be. That's a good idea.
Considering the amount of innings that she has pitched in there.
Yeah. Yep. The other pitcher on their roster, Delana McGee, also has an 0.00 ERA, but she's only pitched 25 innings.
There's a foul tip right there by Jacobson. So much of this game in softball is pitching. If you got to have a good pitcher, of course, in baseball as well.
Yeah, but I think you're exactly right, Gil. In fast pitch softball, the pitchers are truly dominant in the game. I was watching some of the college games on TV last week and over the weekend. Holy smokes, those girls can throw the ball. Woo.
So here we go as Garrison settles in. She'll whip that arm around, throw it in, outside. Probably about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball outside there.
I don't know what it is, but she certainly has confidence in that pitch. I don't think she's thrown anything but a fastball since she came in.
No, she definitely brings the heat right there as
And a nice move by the Elk Grove coach to bring in this girl who's what you would call a power pitcher, just throwing fastball after fastball, after having his starting pitcher who threw a really good variety of 3 pitches: rise, change of pace, and fastball. So now you've got you had to try and figure out which of the 3 pitches you were going to hit against Courtney Allen to begin the game, and now you just got to hope you can get your bat on that fastball.
And so that's going to be 3 up, 3 down for the Lady Miners as they head into the top of the 6th inning. And that'll let us tell you that Touchdown Productions coverage of the Lady Miners Road to the section title is being underwritten today by Magnuson's Auburn Toyota. Magnuson serves the community you live in and is proud to announce the arrival of the new Toyota Prius, the hybrid gas and electric car in Auburn. Magnuson's Auburn Toyota.
And by Taylor Heavy Hauling. With 35 trucks at their disposal, Richard, Sheila, and Dusty Taylor specialize in heavy hauling. From steel beams to big machines, they can handle your transportation needs. Taylor Heavy Hauling.
And the Breakfast Club Cafe. The Breakfast Club is proud to host weekly club meetings where your club can meet and eat, just like the Roman Angels, CBMC, the retired sheriffs, and the Model A's, who all call the Breakfast Club Cafe their home. And, of course, the Darren, the Chans, happy to have that business and serve you in the community, as well as right here on the mound right now where Rochelle pitches a ball, and it's going to go right out to Jacobson, who hauls it in. Haley Andrews, just like that, one pitch, one out.
And that's exactly what the Miners need this inning. They need to get these Elk Grove batters down and get off the field, get in the dugout. They're running out of innings. They need to get in here and get ready to get at bat. 1, 2, 3 inning would be really a good thing here. Boy, that's a beautiful changeup. She has just got that changeup working today.
And at bat right now, and her first time at bat is going to be Heather Garrison.
Heather only has 28 at-bats this year. She has 7 hits in her 28 at-bats for a .250 batting average. I don't think they're too concerned about how much hitting she does. She looks like, I think you're right, she's their closer.
Well, she's only a junior, so she's got another year left on her contract with Elk Grove. And obviously a bright future. There's a nice handle by Nunnick. Can she get it in time? Yes, she can! Sarah Nunnick ranging to her left on a well-hit ball. It looked like it had eyes on it going to the center field. Able to scoop it up, shoot it over to Poteet, and they get Garrison on the play. That's going to be a 6-3 putout in your scorebooks, boys and girls, as the Lady Miners come up with a big play right there here in the 6th inning to keep Elk Grove off the bases.
Just a bang play, a great pickup, one-handed grab, and beautiful footwork to get the body turned and rifle that ball across the infield. Outstanding play.
That's going to bring up Rebecca Bautista now. She bunted and scored in the 1st inning, flied out to the catcher in the 2nd inning, and then flied out to left field in the 4th inning. So this is her 4th time at bat. Elk Grove getting plenty of attempts here today, certainly.
Well, when you score 5 runs, you usually get a lot of people at the plate. But Nevada Union needs to get them down and get them off the field right now so they can get their turn at bat and try and manufacture some runs.
There's a foul tip high off the screen. No play for Tracy Hart as everyone puts their masks back on. And Chan gets ready to deliver. She'll rock, she'll fire. In the low pitch, picked up by Schmitty. Over to Poteet. And that'll be it. It's going to be a 5-3 putout right there. So the Chan method of throwing the ball, letting them hit, letting the fielders do their job seems to be working so far.
Well,
and another inning with no runs.
With the change of speed and the good low location that she's using since she's been in the game, it's just got the Elk Grove hitters off balance, and they're not making good solid contact. That last hit ball was a great example, just barely off the tip of the bat. And the good news for the Miners is the fielders are backing up the pitcher perfectly, making the right plays.
And so that'll give us the opportunity to finish up mentions number 4 right here. And, of course, this game is being brought to you by Golden Green Equipment Rentals. The Olson family, proud of their daughter, playing today. Specializes in all types of rental equipment and provides U-Cart concrete service for those small concrete jobs around the house like fence post and walkways. That's Golden Green Equipment Rentals.
Barbara Parrott, Caldwell Banker, Grassroots Relay. Barbara Parrott has 13 years of experience to share with you, and along with the Grassroots Realty, can make your dream of owning a home in western Nevada County a reality. Barbara Parrott, Caldwell Banker, Grassroots Realty.
And, of course, by Touchdown Productions, championship television for the Foothills, ending our 7th year of bringing you the best in playoff sports. This is Gil Dominguez today, along with my buddy, Coach Terry Tagney, and, of course, the entire Touchdown Productions sports team. Miles Everett pushing the buttons in there with Duckett. And thanks for tuning us in each week as we bring you the best in local sports to all of our 23,000 viewers each week on all your different channels that you're used to watching it on throughout the Foothills. So thanks a lot for tuning in. More great sports coming up. Of course, we got the Drew Reynolds Memorial softball team. There's a hit right over there to Bautista. She'll pick it up, throw it to Greenwald. And that's going to be 4-3 put out for Kayla Olson. Top of the order here for the Lady Miners, which is where you really want to be in the 6th inning. Top of the order, you got your best hitters up there. And we'll see if Lady Miners can do something right here.
Well, with just 5 outs left in this game for the Miners, they need base runners. Whatever they can do to just get the ball in play, and this may do it right here.
Nunnick, with her speed, able to beat out the throw. Garrison bobbled the hit right back to her at the mound. Just long enough, though, by the time she bent down and picked up the bobble, you're not going to catch Nunnick.
No, not especially not on these short bases. That's to me is one of the most exciting things about the girls' high school softball is the field's relatively small. You really have to make plays in this game. If you bobble the ball or just get off pace a little bit, boy, it's hard to get the outs.
And there's a pop up there by Kristen Schmidt, and that'll be handled by McGee, the third baseman. She comes in and for out number 2. So Nunnick unable to advance on the pop-up. Garrison just powering that ball in.
Well, so far the Lady Miners haven't had good timing against this closer for the Elk Grove Thundering Herd, and the unfortunate thing is they're running out of outs.
That's going to bring up Rochelle Chan. She hit a single. Little bloop single out there. No, excuse me. She scored the second out in the 4th inning. That's what it was. So now up at bat, she can do herself a favor here. She's got a runner on base in the form of Sarah Nunnick. And nobody's hit the ball real hard for Nevada Union today. I think that's obviously one of their problems of getting some runners on base.
Yeah, well, they've faced 2 awfully good pitchers today, and both of them appeared to be on their game, so that makes it kind of tough.
There's a pop-up fly to Bautista. She will haul it in right there for the 3rd out. And so, just like that, the Lady Miners are out of the inning in the 6th inning.
Good start. They had the little error there, and they got a runner on first base. But about that time, Heather Garrison just put the plug in that little idea, and 1, 2, 3 after that to keep the Miners off the base path. And boy, that's what they need worse than anything at this moment is they just need some people on the bases.
Well, the good thing is, of course, that Nevada Union will have its last up, but we see a lot of goose eggs right there in the last 5 innings after scoring 1 run, manufacturing that run in inning number 1. And so it's important to keep Elk Grove off the bases right now, as Rochelle Chan will certainly try to do that. She's been successful with her pitches, mixing it up a little bit.
She's done a great job since she came in. At the moment, I think the problem is Nevada, not the problem, but where Nevada Union needs to get something going is on offense.
And to continue that train of thought of what we're going to be doing, what you can be seeing here in the next few weeks, we have the Lady Falcons from Forest Lake coming up tomorrow in their semifinal Division 5 game, followed by the Drew Reynolds tournament the Memorial Softball Tournament for the Reynolds family. Of course, everybody remembers the horrible personal tragedy that his family experienced not too long ago. And it should be a great community event. We'll be bringing you the semifinals and the finals of that, as well as the men's volleyball championships, the Grass Valley Men's Volleyball Championships. And then that's going to bring us right into our Little League season, which will be the Tournament of Champions. And you'll get to see all your favorite teams from Nevada City, Penn Valley, Grass Valley, Bear River, Forest Lake, Forest Hill, I should say, as they battle it out to see who's the best Little League team in the Foothills in District 11. So lots of great sports action coming up all summer long right here on your Foothill Game of the Week.
Here's a little change in the batting order. We have Stephanie, I think it's Hotman, batting. Has only one at-bat this season.
So Stephanie batting for Jenna Alexander.
It's always good to see a coach get people in these playoff games. You know, your team doesn't get to the playoffs every year, and it's really a thrill for these kids just to get into the game, even if it's just for one at bat.
And she fouls that up, makes Terry and I look up.
Incoming.
Beautiful weather down here. A little bit warm this afternoon as we came in, but a nice breeze, Delta breeze coming in, making for a wonderful afternoon for softball as Rochelle throws that changeup and Stephanie Hopman goes fishing. And that'll be the second strikeout for Rochelle since she came in to take over the pitching duties.
Not only was it a nice off-speed pitch, it was on the outside corner of the plate. That's a beautiful pitch. And Coach Chan making a substitution here at first base. Again, my hat's off to him. It's a playoff game. Get some of these kids in the game. Let them have that experience of playing in a playoff game. They'll love it the rest of their life. And
Amanda Poteet, one of our seniors, coming out of the game right now. Should the Lady Miners go down, that'll be her final visit. Time up in the Lady Miner uniform, and replacing her will be Melissa Alves, Jr. Have her down here as a third baseman, but she's going in to play first base right now. Chan throwing the ball into the dirt there.
I don't know whether Melissa will be, I don't have the lineup exactly, but I don't know whether she's going to get a chance to hit next inning, but she doesn't have a lot of at-bats. She only has 18 at-bats, but she has 7 hits for a .389 average. So let's hope she gets up next inning.
Casey Craig, the batter right now, facing Rochelle Chan, and 3 balls to her, so Chan in danger of putting her on, and there's a strike. That's what she's looking for. 1 down here in the 7th inning. Lady Miners need a rally, but first they got to take care of business, get 2 more outs, put down the Thundering Herd. There's a sharp hit out to center field, actually just right over second base, and Wixon picks up the ball, throws it into Nunnick. Ball didn't even quite really get to the grass there on the fly.
Just one of those little tweeners, you know, right between shortstop and second base, and right between second base and the center fielder. Just one of those ones that had eyes.
And so that'll be a single for Casey. Casey. Too many names here. And that brings up pinch hitter number 15, Katie Miller.
Love to see the Miners turn a double play right here.
Katie Miller number 15. She's a junior. They have her as an outfielder.
Also not much playing time this year, only 18 at-bats with 3 hits for a 167 average. But again, I just can't say enough about both of these coaches. They're getting a lot of kids in this playoff game, and that's a great thing.
Ball dribbling up the first base side over to Melissa Alves, who picks it up, doesn't have time to tag the runner, but throws it over to second base where Griggs is standing.
Makes a really nice play on that ball. There was a lot of confusion. There's several players right around that ball, including the base runner. Cleanly picked it up and made a nice clean throw to first base.
So that's going to be 2 out right now. The runner advances. Casey Craig will advance. There's a slap right over to Griggs again. She'll throw the ball over to Alves, and then that'll be it. 4-3 on the put out there.
Very nice inning for the Lady Miners. Get them off the field in a hurry, which is exactly what they wanted to do, which is exactly what they accomplished. Now they can take their get up there and take their swings and use their last 3 outs to their best advantage.
So the Lady Miners need 4 runs to tie it to send it into extra innings, and 5 runs to win it. And they will have to be going against Heather Garrison, number 20, the relief pitcher, the closer for the Herd, who's come on here in the 5th inning and really done a job for the Elk Grove Thundering Herd, only going 1 batter over the limit so far, and that was her own little error that she made on a ball coming straight back to her. Other than that, it's been 3 up and 3 down for the Lady Miners as we're headed into the home stretch right here, Terry, and it's time to put on a little minor magic, I think.
We need to start shaking the beads or doing something here to get something going for these Lady Miners. The Elk Grove pitcher, Heather Garrison, is just 1 inning away from maintaining her perfect 0.00 ERA, and let's hope the Miners can change that right here.
Well, coming up to bat for her first time is going to be Haley Andrews. Just came into the game for Amanda Poteet over at first base. Had a couple fielding opportunities there in her inning of work. And she will face the hard-throwing Heather Garrison, and she watches ball 1 go by. So Haley ahead of the count already as Garrison winds up, and she delivers. And strike right down the middle of the plate right there.
Well, Melissa's right up in the front of the batting box. She's looking very aggressive, and she is a .389 hitter. So let's hope she can get something started here for the Lady Miners.
Pop up, going to hit the fence, going to be no play. Nice swing there by Andrews, though. Had she gotten a bigger bite on the ball, that one certainly would have been traveling somewhere.
And she doesn't look like she's afraid of this fastball. She's right up in the front of the box, and she wants to get a hit. She is right up there and very aggressive.
And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch is a strike, and that'll be the.
Boy, that ball was right on the inside part of the plate, just barely caught the edge of the plate. A beautiful 2-strike pitch.
And just kind of froze Andrews there, and she'll take a seat in the dugout as Tracy Hart comes up to bat. Ooh, boy, is that fast. Little outside, though. That's the 2nd strikeout for Garrison so far in the game. There's a slap out to the shortstop. We'll pick it up and throw it over to first. That's McGee to Greenwald. And the Lady Miners are down to their final out of the game, and it'll be in the form of Ashley Griggs.
That ball
Oh, wait, excuse me. We have a, thank you, Christy Kennard coming in.
Christie steps to the plate with a .286 batting average. Only has 7 at-bats. again, I just can't say this enough. Having been a high school coach myself for years and years and years, it just does my heart so much good to see these coaches getting these players into the game.
Well, that's why I introduced you as coach earlier. Once you're a coach, you're always coach.
You're stuck forever, huh?
That's it.
Okay, I'm not a TV personality. I'm
Coach
still coach? Okay.
Well, yeah.
I accept that.
Coach Tagney joining us in the booth. And Christie will take a look at the ball right there. So certainly if you're Heather Garrison, you got to feel pretty confident right now. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th inning.
As well as she's pitching, and her location is terrific. She's right near the corner of the plate, inside and outside. She's done a magnificent job since coming in.
Sarah Wixon on deck for the Miners. Should Christy Kennard be able to get on base? Miners need base runners right now. And another low pitch right there to Christy that's going to bring the count full, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning, where it ain't over till it's over.
What do you think, fastball?
You know, I'm not even sure. It's all fast. There's a nice little pop bloop out to the right as Christy gets some encouragement from her teammates for getting some wood on that and stays alive with a 3-2 count.
Just very nice protecting the plate with 2 strikes right here at the end of the game.
This is one of the new guys. I haven't even met him yet. He's already working on the crew. Sandy, oh, and there it is, strike 3. Heather Garrison sets down the Lady Miners and ends their season, comes on and has 3 strikeouts in the final 2 innings, only going 1 batter over the minimum in the final 3 innings, and that was, like we said, on her error, right? That was the ball that was hit right back to her. Otherwise, she would have gone 1, 2, 3 for 3 innings, 9 straight outs. And that will be the end of the game and the end of the Lady Miners season. Lady Miners not really having anything to be ashamed of, though. Won the league title for the first time in Nevada Union school history. We were witness to that game, as well as beating a Woodland team. And as we can see as the girls come walking by here, I'm not seeing any big tears or anything like that you might expect in the playoffs, or that you see maybe in some other sports, football or whatever. Maybe there's more emotion. Elk Grove certainly deserving to win this game today, Terry.
Well, just, Gil, absolutely 2 dominant pitchers, one with a 3-pitch variety and the other with just a blistering fastball. The Lady Miners never really had much opportunity to get runners on the base. Elk Grove had 2 good pitchers that were on their game, and boy, you talk about girls softball, that's the name of the game.
It certainly is, and the Elk Grove Thundering Herd will advance, and they will play the loser of the Sheldon-Vacaville game, which is being played over in Field 2 right now, so I'm not sure who is that game is going to be, but of course we wish them well as they move on to the tournament. So for Nevada Union, it's 1 victory in the tournament, a very hard-fought 4-3 12-inning affair on Suicide Saturday, where they were able to pull out a win against Folsom. And then the loss to Grace Davis, of course, immediately after that, Terry, which I think, unfortunately, put the Lady Miners behind the 8 ball.
Well, that's just an awful lot to ask of high school kids to play a 12-inning game like that and then come right back and have to play another game right afterwards. I think what people forget a lot is not so much it's the physical problems that you have, but it's the emotional. I mean, when you're out there playing a playoff game, you're a little tight. There's a little stress, a little mental anxiety going on because it's a lose or go home situation, and I think that takes its toll as much as the physical stuff does. They're high school kids, and that's just a tough road to go. But it's nice to have the double elimination because you can lose one and still be alive. But it just makes it really, really difficult.
Well, I thought they'd be able to come back today with a day's rest, of course, on Sunday. But obviously, Becky Dowd not on her game that we've seen her pitch before, really dominating the players. She pitched a no-hitter to win the league championship, so that's the kind of style that she really has, and never really able to get on track today, I think.
No, she didn't look like she was at the very peak of her game today, and she did well. I think for the innings that she pitched, there were a couple of unusual plays. She did have some walks, but all in all, she did a good job.
Well, so that wraps it up for the Lady Miners season. We'll do all that kind of stuff too. They end their season with 21 victories. So that's the first high water mark for them. Darren Chan, his first year coaching the team, taking them into uncharted waters, playoff appearance, second round of the playoffs, as well as the league title, and they've got a lot to build on, Terry.
Well, they've only got, I think, 2 or 3 seniors on the team, so they're a young team. Anytime you can win 20 games or more, I think you've done a great job in a high school softball season. And, the bottom line is, Gil, when it's all said and done, there's only one team that goes home with a win. Everybody else goes home with a loss. So I think the Nevada Union Lady Minor softball team had a magnificent season, and they have much to be proud of.
When we were doing the Forest Lake state final game, we were talking to some of the players, and this one player was commenting, I forget who it was right now, about how she didn't have to cry that season after they won the state title.
Well,
so you're right. There's only one team that doesn't have to cry.
Yeah, everybody but one ends with a loss, and you just have to understand that and realize that the fact that you lost the last game doesn't change a good season.
And so as the sun slowly sets in the west, as it's a usual practice around this time of day, we'll let you know that today's special playoff presentation of Lady Minor softball, and what a great season they had, was brought to you by the good folks over at Liberty Motors. The Alkenbrecht family hopes you've enjoyed this special playoff telecast.
Hanson Brothers Construction and HBE Rentals. Orson and Helen Hanson, happy to underwrite sports television in the Foothill.
And, of course, congratulate their son Jeff and Andrea on their nuptials this last Saturday. And Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Dennis Aday is proud to support high school softball, and he'll be out here coaching his Forest Lake Christian Lady Falcons tomorrow.
And good luck to him. Placer Title Company. Everyone at Placer Title is proud of the Lady Miners.
And Soft Answers. Dallas Wivholm congratulates the Lady Miners on a great and historic season.
And Magnuson, Auburn Toyota, Tony Toohey, and David Harrison, who, by the way, played basketball for me at Placer High School.
There you go.
Salute the Placer Lady Minor softball team.
Yeah, that should be
That should be NU.
That's a typo there.
Oh, goodness.
That's a typo. You got to catch those. Taylor Heavy Hauling, Richard and Sheila Taylor, love to support girls athletics in the Foothills, and of course they got that Placer connection working there too.
And my favorite breakfast cafe in Auburn, the Breakfast Club Cafe. Darren and Denise Chan are proud of their daughter Rochelle and all the Lady Miners.
And Gold and Green Equipment Rentals, John and Becky Olson, are also proud of their daughter Kayla and the entire NU Lady Miners softball team.
Barbara Parrott, Caldwell Banker. Barbara Parrott believes in the character of youth sports.
And, of course, by us, that's us right there, Touchdown Productions, Championship Television for the Foothills. Join us next time as we continue to follow the one remaining team now in the playoffs. That's the Forest Lake Christian Lady Falcons, as they will host Oris Timba tomorrow right here on field number 3 at the world-famous Sacramento softball complex, and you'll be able to see that game on your game of the week no matter where you're at, whether it's in Auburn on ACTV Channel 20, in Bear River Colfax at USA Media Channel 23, or the brand new station NCTV 11 in Grass Valley, Nevada City. Thanks for tuning in to your Foothill Game of the Week. We really enjoy bringing it to you as Walt Baker enjoys the shade up there, high up on the scissor lift, donated to us today by M&M Machines, the Ducats, giving us a a nice ride with that piece of equipment and able to bring you a lot of nice shots today because of that. So big thanks to them. And also to DMC Concrete, who gave us the trailer and over to bring that piece of equipment down here for us to use.
Very nice addition to the program.
So, our executive producer is, well, I guess that's me.
That's you, babe.
All right. Gilbert Dominguez, thanks for coordinating everything, Gil. Getting the field space down here. Our director today, Miles Everett, doing a great job pushing the buttons forward. And, of course, his accomplice in there, Brandon Duckett, doing the replays and the titles. Our camera operators today, Walt Baker up on the crane, Grady Fike out at first base, and the new kid on the block, Sandy Stoltz from Auburn, going to be joining us on some of our Auburn broadcast and did a really great job according to Miles. So welcome to the team, Sandy. Your announcers today, joining me, Terry Tagney. And Terry, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. I think the last time we hooked up was in Colfax.
Yes, it was.
For the NorCal games, a couple, and of course the Falcons are undefeated in that gym still.
Yeah, maybe they ought to board up the doors quick.
Our webmaster, Jamie Pell, couldn't join us today. He's got some other things. Hairstyles by Michelle Brown over at The Look. Stats courtesy of MaxPreps.com.
And boy, thanks to them, they do a great job for us.
Yeah, boy, you can't even do a show without those guys anymore. And of course, there's the scissor lift, courtesy of Janice and Chris Duckett, the all-knowing, all-seeing Ducketts, parents of Brandon, and of course owners of M&M Machine. Remote facilities, courtesy of the only remote truck still in Nevada County, the Commander. And it rolls. There it is. It's rolling all the way down here to Sacramento today, and not quite in the shade, but give us a call, Touchdown Productions, 274-2206, and send us your emails about us being on the air in Grass Valley. We really need them, and we will present them to Lou Sitzer and try and establish some rules that everybody can live with in the community and produce sports television the way that we're used to doing it, the way you're used to seeing it. You can go out and give us an email also. That's gil@touchdownproductions.com is my email address. Love to hear from you. Like I said, please send in those letters telling them what kind of community television you want to have in Grass Valley and in Nevada City. So the Lady Miners end their season today in the second round of the playoffs, coming up a little bit short against the Elk Grove Lady Thundering Herd, 5-1, but can look forward to a really bright future next season as Darren Chan starts his second year. For Terry Tagney and the rest of the crew, I'm Gil Dominguez. We'll see you next time on your Foothill Game of the Week. Good night, everybody.
I think the ushers, you shouldn't close the doors. Please let people continue to come in because we will have to start. We're not in church. So welcome, Your Holiness. Thank you so much for coming. We're all very, very delighted to have you. And welcome to all of you. Before we begin, I would like to just read one or two short lines from His Holiness's book, Ethics for the New Millennium, just to frame the concept of ethical revolution. He begins in the first chapter. His Holiness is talking about how material progress alone is not solving the world's problems with environment or with war or with crime or violence and so forth. And there has to be an internal development to go along with it.
You don't know if often get an invitation to hang with the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama is, he's big. He's a major presence.
And he's someone who transcends the usual categories of leadership and, dare I say, celebrity in America. I mean, he speaks with such authenticity at a time when there's so little in this country.
And also, I think he brings a sense of charming hope.
The Dalai Lama teaches to take the blinders off.
Well, for me, I really want to know what's going on, what's the nature, what's their beliefs on the peace and everything.
I don't think you can ever underestimate the importance of somebody standing up and reminding us of the right behavior. The Dalai Lama has that power. He's able to grab a hold of people and move them.
So it's for hope, see what's going on, what some of the good people are thinking.
So we have to greet His Holiness. Yes, we do. We're the hosts, so we have to greet him when he comes out of the car. The discussion on ethics that His Holiness wishes to have by writing his book, Ethics for the New Millennium, we thought it would be important for him to have that discussion with people who might be open to that idea of the ethical revolution. And by that he means something other than the various revolutions that we've seen. They were revolutions that tried to change things by changing the outer arrangements of society. And they mostly led to more of the same under different headings. He argues that we need an inner revolution, a revolution that draws from an inner dimension. Then he very carefully distinguishes that from a religious revolution. In the Buddhist view, ethics is not grounded in religion or in some sort of from another world, from on high. Ethics is grounded in human biology. Ethics is more powerful. Ethics is more realistic. You have to have revolutions in your heart. You have to have revolutions in your mind in order to be able to change society in positive ways.
If you look at many spiritual traditions of the past, including Buddhism, great emphasis has been placed on articulating the wisdom through language, scriptures, and so on. And in fact, in Buddhism, of all the various activities of the enlightened person, his teaching, his speech, is considered to be the most important avenue of the enlightened action. So this is particularly the case in the modern society where media plays such a pervasive and influential role.
And then another thing, one of the very importance of instrument to check people, whether politician or economist or religious leader or any level, whether they're doing mischievous thing or not. So I usually call media people, you should have long nose, like elephant, and then smell here and there. Provided be very objective, very sincere, very honest, very truthful. All such things. I think the media is very, very important.
I think that the 2 points that you make about curiosity and seeking the truth are very, very important and critical at this time because we're losing our perspective. And it's certainly been encouraged that we get less information on the part of the conglomerates that are buying up and controlling the media. And that's very insulting to people who are trying to stay awake in their lives and want information. It goes back to the Garden of Eden. Are we really, as human beings, interested in giving up knowledge and not eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge in order to be taken care of? Are we so frightened that we really don't want to know? And even when the lies are so blatant, not ask for the truth, not ask for accountability, as you say.
Populations of America, which is, of course has a very powerful impact on the rest of the world, need access to other people's views than the ones they get from the corporate-controlled media, which has become more or less propaganda from the point of view of almost everyone else in the world. But the Americans don't know that, and they think they're getting real stuff from the news, which are mainly they're getting kind of government commercials and corporate commercials. They should hear from the Dalai Lama. They should hear from Bishop Tutu. They should not just hear from these and that supposed media commentators and pundits. These people are pundits, and yet they have a different view. They see the interests of other people in a certain way. And if that kind of view was more widely available to people, I think people would make much better decisions.
I'm deeply honored to be here with you, Your Holiness. I edit a weekly political magazine. I think the question that faces us is how do those of us in the media revitalize the civic powers that are so important to an ethical society? How does a journalist feel anger at the daily outrages we witness and still act as an effective, humane watchdog to be critical-minded but not relentlessly oppositional? I think we need to create alternative structures in which journalists can be ethical and speak with the values that inform so much of the world that goes uncovered. Do we see the fact that, there's extraordinary global inequality in this world? Do we see the movements fighting for change in the streets around this world? Do we see the excitement of that? No, because there's a kind of suffocating consensus in too much of our media, which is to commercialize, but it's also a mindset that we must be practical. We must look only at what Wall Street's doing today. Why not Main Street? That doesn't enter into the discourse of too much journalism. The nation was founded by abolitionists in 1865 to fight the evils of slavery, and we have always believed that there is no force so potent in politics, in life, as a moral issue. Without the noble tradition of torchbearers, of investigative journalism, I think our society, as so many others, does not have the accountability. Walter Cronkite, I think, who was a major media figure and a major media conglomerate, speaks out eloquently against the dangers of the bottom line in terms of what constitutes news in our country. If there was more of a critical mass, you could see establishment figures trying to at least reform. You're not going to see a revolution, as the Dalai Lama would like to. That is not realistic, but I would say evolution, not revolution, is a first step. I am a realistic idealist, and I believe there are extraordinary changes which bring hope. The new technologies of the internet and digital video have brought about a new generation of independent journalism that is being created directly by the participants in political movements and campaigns. And instead of being the subjects of the mass media, millions of people are making their own media and talking back to official journalists. A kind of revolution, perhaps an ethical one, against media consolidation and for democracy and diversity. Millions of people are waking to reclaim the airwaves for our democracy and telling our government loud and clear that we don't want to live in a world with one voice. So I have hope that a media that is made by people who are responsive to the public interest, to their interest of the audience as opposed to the interest of their owners or their advertisers, is far more likely to bring about a revolution. And I believe in the end the full story will come out because someone is heading into the cave with a torch.
Regarding criticism, I think criticism is very important. But then also,
it is also very natural for human beings when you are subject to criticism, instead of examining whether there is any basis, substance for this criticism, your immediate instinctive reaction tends to be that of negative, defensive reaction.
So therefore, I always telling the people who are working for promotion of non-violence, we must show the non-violent method to tackle the problem. Without that, just to say peace, 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 not much meaning. Now, like the Iraqi crisis, when you say just oppose the war or violence. Of course, very right, but not sufficient. We must show the method how to salvage that. So therefore, now media, when you make some critical sort of comment, and at the same time show the method or the alternative, then this, I think the other side could read as a support, helper. Then truly that criticism is a result of sense of responsibility, not just a mere criticism.
So this is Amy Goodman.
I come from Pacifica Radio, which was founded just after World War II, founded by a man named Lou Hill. He said there has to be a media outlet that is not run by corporations that profit from war, but run by journalists and artists. And that's how Pacifica was born.
The media is the way most people understand the rest of the world. We either have experiences ourselves with our neighbors, that's how we learn about things, we read, or we watch what is taking place on television. And seeing that through a corporate lens, through the lens of, say, NBC, which is owned by General Electric, one of the major nuclear weapons manufacturers in the world, it's no accident that war looks like a military hardware show.
After 9/11, that horrendous crime against humanity, you can't call them journalists, but the media personalities on television started to intone the number 90%. 90% of Americans are for war, they said. Who was asked? Were you called? And if in fact people were polled, what was the question? If people were asked, do you believe the killing of innocent civilians should be avenged by the killing of innocent civilians? More than 90% of Americans would say no. And that is not the story that we got in the mainstream media. Instead, it, as Noam Chomsky says, manufactures consent for war. You move forward now to the invasion of Iraq. You have the Pentagon researching what is the most effective propagandistic name they could call this to manipulate how people would view it. They called it Operation Iraqi Freedom. They actually had another name. That was Operation Iraqi Liberation, but they realized the acronym OIL, and they thought, no. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, that's the Pentagon's name. But if you look at how the broadcast networks covered this invasion, they incorporated that name into their logos, not just at Fox, but at NBC and MSNBC. It was called Operation Iraqi Freedom in their pictures. They adopt the same names as the Pentagon. When that happens, these logos make you ask, if we had state media in this country, how would it be any different?
The kind of information that's being put forward, unquestioned, unsourced, is inexcusable because it really is a matter of life and death.
If we saw the casualties on the ground in Iraq on a regular basis to honestly portray who is behind that terror in every circumstance, it varies, but also it is all too often the same in those other situations. We hear about these military regimes that are backed by the most powerful military on earth, and that is the United States. And we have to understand those links. We are in a new century, a new millennium, and the media needs to reflect that and honestly convey the hell and the gore of war. All of us get by with hope and work together because we have that hope of a better world. Maybe someday we'll all be together in Tibet celebrating with you. Thank you very much.
In the United States, the criticism towards one's own government or some of the policy freely is, I think, a very positive sign. I don't think the next week
I'm sure that as a result of our airing these criticism in public here, there will not be an immediate kind of retribution that we will suffer, say, at least in the next week or so.
I don't think. In any case, I'm leaving tomorrow. So I always telling my American friends for many years, the real American strength is not weapon, but democracy, rule of law, justice. But in the field of international relations, that democratic principle is not there. Still relying on show of force. And that's backward. So the real method, personal contact, person to person, face to face, talk, listen. His view, what is his complaint? And the terrorism is because of mutual suffering. They also suffer. Right? So therefore, try to find a way to solve which causing their complaint. That's the proper way. That's the human way. Some representative, government, or even United Nations, I think, unfortunately, now you see many people, too much suspicion and distrust. So therefore, you see, they're very difficult. So there's some individual who really people looks no political agenda or interest, sort of respected people, including Nobel laureate, as a group, and should take more active role on behalf of humanity, not this government or that government or United Nations. Simply, warm heart, with sense of, the responsibility of humanity and group. Then I think there is some ground trust. Then listen first their view and explain. If war started, what benefit?
When Your Holiness goes with Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela and Jimmy Carter and all of these people in the nonviolence SWAT team, Amy will cover you. Amy Goodman will go with you with the microphone.
He was very funny today because he's realistic. He says you can't just say peace, peace, peace. You must show people that there are nonviolent paths that will bring security and that will bring more security and human security and really fight terror than the violent path we've undertaken.
If he were more accessible to the world on television, in the media, mass media of communication, he would have an enormous impact, which is probably why the propaganda media doesn't give him a great deal of play, in fact.
The Dalai Lama's message cannot be captured by the mainstream media today because they rely on sound bites. And when you're not just repeating the accepted wisdom, you need time to explain what it is you're saying. And if they don't get it, they just sound odd, or they're not included at all because they don't give good soundbite. The Dalai Lama should be proud of that fact.
This afternoon, I'd like to build a case for hope, for I sense that we are at a turning point in history, and that my field, socially responsible investing, has a pivotal role to play in it. Bringing investments into alignment with personal values makes sense to a lot of people, because a healthy society depends on healthy roots. In our case, healthy grassroots.
Ethics has come under attack as something that's not core to who we are and what we do. It is what made the nation function originally. But they have increasingly come under attack, and certainly in the last 25, maybe even 50 years, ethics have become some kind of an academic study set aside from business practice.
There is no they creating the conditions of global disaster. We are the problem. Corporations increasingly rule the world. They are, however, only there to serve you and me.
In America, $7 trillion is invested in mutual funds. That's half of American capital. The average holding period in most mutual funds is 6 months. I don't own the company. I'm renting a ride. I don't care what that company is going to do in 9 months. I care what they're going to do right now. CEOs get paid a lot more, millions and millions of dollars more, if the stock goes up this quarter.
So NorCal contracts for oil in Burma, resulting in the enslavement of thousands. And General Motors contracts for lead from Peru, resulting in the poisoning of thousands, and so forth. The system is geared toward producing one result, putting a little money in your wallet.
To make decisions that, at least on the surface, appear to be contrary to the best interest of Wall Street is a very big decision for a CEO or an analyst to make, and one which probably could cost them their jobs.
Values must become integral into the investing process. Universal human dignity and ecological sustainability must be the goal of all finance.
Investors are not passive creatures. They are not merely along for the ride in some trend that they've identified. They're creating the trend.
We know that we can make a difference. We have the tools, we have the structure, and we cannot afford to fail. Thank you.
Definitely, I believe that this is a very skillful and actually very effective method of using one's investments for ethical purposes. For example, shareholders and people who buy stocks, to make sure that they don't invest in companies that have destructive implications.
Yes, okay. Russell?
You know, we're here for a short time, and as His Holiness says, and all the good books remind you that the only wealth is really well-being and happiness. And no success that I've ever had came from anything that I didn't give before I got it. And that principle of giving, you know, as part of a conscious business makes you a much better businessman. You know, for many years, I thought that I was a taker. I was producing all of this music and movies and things, and I thought that I was trading with the world, but I was really working hard to share things I loved and give service to the world. So to remind business people, corporations, and others that to endear yourself to the world and to the community is what makes you successful. Thank you.
He had discussions with people who offer consultancy for business and corporations, particularly in the role of ethics in business. And one of the things that he had been doing is to really convince the CEOs of the major corporations that, in fact, to bring ethical principles into the corporate practice is really in the self-interest of the corporations themselves. So you spoke from your own personal experience of how when giving becomes part of your business habit, you know, it becomes successful.
So, very good. Thank you.
Well, as I understood, the assignment was. What would it be like if I ran the zoo? Originally, religion and government acted as checks on the power of business.
Right now, the politicians that are making the laws are essentially bought and paid for by the corporations that they're supposedly regulating. That don't work.
The experiment that we underwent at Ben & Jerry's was to figure out whether business is inherently evil. And what we found was that it's not, that business is essentially a neutral tool. And at Ben & Jerry's, we made a very deliberate effort to see if it was possible for a corporation to be a reparative force in the society.
If you can't find a way for business to act in a more socially beneficial manner, we're never going to, solve the problems of the society. And so, I think it's key to actualizing the spirituality and the philosophy of Buddhism for business.
Being socially beneficial became our unique selling proposition. It's good ice cream, but that the company was using its power to help improve the quality of life in its communities was another major motivating force. If I ran the zoo, I'd do some more stuff. I'd pass legislation that reduced the maximum salary that a CEO could get to be... Why should the CEO of a major corporation earn more money than the President of the United States? Why don't we just say, that's as high as you can get?
The owner makes all the money. They're all overpaid, but the owner makes all the money.
I got a proposal for the owner.
Let's get a plan for that.
I got a tax on windfall profits. So that companies that are basing their business model on the idea of maximizing quarterly profits would end up being penalized. And this would force companies to have to base their decision-making on the long-term benefit, on long-term profitability. It's a great thing running the zoo, isn't it? So I think that ends up reducing the power of business and making it possible for the broad, values-led desires of the general population to come to the forefront.
Of course, someone who is concerned about the fate of people everywhere, I do find this huge gap between the rich and the poor, in general, at the global level, between the rich nations and the poor nations, and also within each community there is a huge gap. This is a major source of concern, and also there is a moral dimension to this issue. The current trend of the widening of the influence of multi-corporations in all over the world, and their negative impact upon the local economies, where sometimes the local economy, the individual businesses and so on, gets really kind of overwhelmed and undermined locally in many other parts of the world. This raises serious, not only practical, but also moral issue. But as to how to solve this, how to correct this, His Holiness was saying that he hasn't got any idea.
I think it is empowering the rest of us. I think it's empowering consumers. If businesses knew that they would make more money if they were addressing this issue of the gap between rich and poor, they would do it. If consumers say, I will buy your product instead of the competitors if you are acting in the interest of the society as a whole.
But the truth always sells, and that is what you suggest to lead each of us by example. My brother, he was a very famous rapper. He sold a lot of sneakers. Here's his sneaker. I'm selling to you right now. These are called the Fat Classics, right? Okay, right. I'll send Ben a pair. So my brother came to me. He said, I want to run your sneaker company. We'll make an offering at a sneaker. And I said, they only wear Nike. I'm going to say quickly, though, we made an offering at a sneaker, and we made economic justice the basis of our campaign. Equal high-quality education and subjects that matter to people, and say that's the basis of our sneaker campaign, and that's why we're here, to kind of change our own mindset so we can uplift poor people. But it was a good example. It's a good example that was a success story. It was important, and it made money. I got a big house now.
I don't think you'll get your sneakers back.
Rev 4 is that, I don't know this brand, but I'm probably the only one in the room that doesn't. This Fat Farm, okay. I'm an Ann Taylor person. But these stories, I think, are more important than simply the success of the business. They lead to the success of the individual. That person who has made that purchase has started on an odyssey of redefinition of self. They have started to define themselves as a person who joins with others over concern for economic justice, for people. That redefinition of self is possible through certain kinds of consumption, and both of these companies, I believe, are examples of that. So I love these stories, and thank you for sharing them.
Thank you.
His Holiness was saying that in classical Buddhism there are 4 factors of happiness or pursuit. You have spiritual practice and wealth, and the result of spiritual practice is liberation, and the result of wealth is the fulfillment of desire.
So these 4 things are factory.
These are seen as factors of happiness.
Most business people probably don't pay that much attention to the Dalai Lama, but there are some that do. More than that, there's a whole lot of consumers that pay attention to the Dalai Lama. The key is for those consumers to realize that they have the power to take the spiritual philosophies of the Dalai Lama and actualize them into how they interface with business.
If you talk to any person who has gone through a transformation and begun to show a real caring attitude, each one of them will talk about an incident, a particular moment where they were personally involved, where they heard somebody, saw something differently, and it changed everything for them. The Dalai Lama has that power. He's able to do that. He's able to grab a hold of people and move them.
The planet is our only home. So the taking care of nature or environment is not something for today.
So taking care of the planet environment is not really a religious or any moral or spiritual ideal. It's a question of one's own survival.
Just like taking care of one's own room, one's own house. It is rather foolish in the room, temperature very cold, then they use furniture and burn. Foolish. So now I'm eager, is it to learn more from specialists through interact. So I'm very happy.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Thank you.
What we do know about the environment is that every living system on Earth is in rapid decline, and the rate of decline is accelerating. There's not one peer-reviewed scientific paper published in the last 20 years that conflicts with that statement. But I think more importantly, the living system that is pervasive, that affects us all, is climate. And I don't believe the world has fully accepted or understood the implications of climate change. Climate change, if it is gradual over the next 100 years, will have horrendous results in terms of drought, flooding, the ability of forests to survive. You know, the 21st century, we are going to be oppressed by ourselves. You know, the loss of so much that we hold dear in terms of our environment. And the question is, how will we be as a culture? Who will we be? Are we preparing ourselves, you know, with a kind of awareness, you know, and attention that will allow us to care for others? The Dalai Lama has a lot to offer the world, I think, for the 21st century. How to, in a sense, reach out. How do we prepare ourselves for a world that will suffer grievously in the decades to come? The good news, however, is that there are over 100,000 non-governmental organizations, citizen-based organizations, institutes, working today on this subject, and it is the most unusual movement the world has ever seen, because it has no leader, it has no dogma, nobody's in charge, there is no orthodoxy. And yet, if you query each of these groups and ask them for their values, which principles inform their work, what is their framework of understanding, you will find that there is virtually no disagreement between these groups all over the world. And what I want to suggest is that there is an ethical revolution emerging in the world today in this movement, because it is the first movement that didn't arise from central authority or an idea from a charismatic male vertebrate. And this should give us a great deal of hope. This is the most powerful movement the world has ever seen.
I think Paul has really conveyed the crucial issue of our time in the sense that the house is on fire. Well, if the house is on fire, one thing we know is that our solutions have to be commensurate with the scale of the problem. And I guess a key question for this dialogue today is, you know, is this inner revolution, this inner spiritual revolution that the Dalai Lama talks about in his new book, really a key tool to help us with that outer revolution, so to speak, to maintain the body of the earth for future generations of all life on earth. And in many respects, I'm very excited about that and think that, in fact, not only can it, but it's key to the next step. if the band of social movements around the world, the human rights movement, the environmental movement, if they get into this and get the gist of what the Dalai Lama is saying and incorporate that into their outer behavior, this is the family of families, the anti-globalization, the pro-better world society that is able to operate on a scale commensurate with the problems we see with economic globalization and George Bush. And so when people ask me, well, gee, aren't you bummed out at the destruction of the rainforest? My answer is I'm so excited about understanding the leverage points around which we can make a difference and save the rainforest. And ultimately, of course, you cannot save the forests of Tibet or the tropical rainforests of the Amazon until you make that systemic shift of society globally, right? And hence the World Trade Organization and those gatherings. But just decrying the evil ways of the WTO and corporate-led economic globalization isn't sufficient, you know. We have to champion the better world as well. And, you know, that's the stage of the global environmental movement now, where we're going to add some counterbalance to the negativity. But we also do need the spiritual leaders like yourself to come to those gatherings. So I want to invite you to an upcoming World Trade Organization meeting where you'll find many of the people in this audience and many of the people on Link TV, that family of families that is that force, I think, of compassion that can create this spiritual revolution. So come if you can. We'd like to have you.
Listening to your presentation, it in fact reinforced my own general belief that when dealing with difficult problems, it's very important to appreciate the wider ramifications of that problem so that we don't have a kind of a simplistic understanding of that problem only from one angle. So what seems to be important on our part when we tackle these problems is to try to find a way of coordinating efforts from all the various movements so that individual groups or individual approaches could concentrate on their strength, but through the coordination we will be able to deal with all the various dimensions of a given problem.
As I understand it, it is the plants that made the world livable for higher life. The activity of the plants that gave us seasons, pure water, healthy soil, breathable air. Looking at the world condition and the challenges that we are facing, what I have come to realize is that the unifying solution to many of these global problems is simply to replant the world. The planet knows exactly how to heal itself, and we just need to give it that opportunity.
I believe that bringing this message to people in places of influence and power, especially someone like His Holiness, who is actually, the embodiment of these dharmic ethical principles, is very valuable, because our world leaders need to know, ecologically speaking, the world is in crisis. And the solution is really to put our attention on shifting our social priorities.
Now, the key to this particular global work, as I understand it, is the medicinal plants in particular. And the medicinal plants provide a wide range of therapeutic functions. But basically, they can be summed up as providing some kind of nutrition or strength or vitality to the body, and detoxifying, cleansing the organs and the systems. And these basic functions are functions that modern drugs basically cannot do. Now, my particular approach to doing this is working with community gardens and school gardens. And through this particular work, I think that something could evolve that would actually be a kind of teaching of these ethical principles by example through this process of giving medicines and teaching people the relationship with plants. And if we're going to have medicine in the future, we have to start replanting gardens of medicine everywhere, to see the world as a garden of healing medicine as it once was. So thank you.
So now you see your sort of interest or replant and the lifestyle more farmer-like. Right? It's very good. It's closer. That way, bring closer relation with nature. After all, we are part of nature. I think it is false sort of thinking. We have the scientific sort of knowledge and the technology. So we can change, we can overwhelm nature. I think that is short-sighted.
If as a result of human action we cause a dramatic change in the ecosystem in the destructive way, then all the human beings, including the scientists and including our wonderful technology, there's only one path, the path to destruction.
Now for that, I think most important is education. So awareness through education. It seems the human thinking at the beginning of 20th century and the later part of 20th century, I think must change. So I think there is basis for optimism. What do you think?
I go to colleges.
This is a great band.
Don't break my heart.
All right. I guess we're following that. You guys can see it live. So I think we should
tear my world apart. Don't break my heart. Oh, don't you tear my world apart. If I have to live without you, baby, I don't know where to start. Oh, please don't go. Your life's the only thing I know. Don't make us part. Oh baby, please don't break my heart. I need your love like a cold hand needs a glove. I need your love like a cold hand needs a glove. Make us fall. Oh baby, please don't break my heart. Like a cold hand needs a glove. I need your love. Like a cold hand needs a glove. Don't make us part. Oh baby, please don't.
heart, don't break my heart. Please, don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Hello, I'm Yvette Torres, and welcome to another edition of The Road to Recovery. Today we'll be talking about building public awareness and support for prevention